inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Friday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with JJ LaSelva. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. Hope you guys had a happy holidays, a Merry Christmas, and all that. Little Hack was well taken care of. JJ, I was telling Carline and Baloo on the transition there, they make this little device that you plug into your TV. I'm not technical enough to know what it is, but basically you have like thousands of games from the 1990s, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, all these games on this little USB type deal that you can now play in today's day and age.
Like on one device?
Yeah, like on one device.
Love that.
Oh, my gosh.
I would have killed for that as a kid.
My goodness, man. I'm 41 years old.
Each of those games was like $50 at one point.
Right. But it was a gift for my 5-year-old, so I'm teaching him about Super Mario Kart Battle Mode from Super Nintendo in 1992. So then Little Hack goes to take a nap earlier today, so I just start messing around with this thing, and I found Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past from Super Nintendo. Oh, man, I was getting after that.
I was an Ocarina of Time guy.
Oh, well, there you go.
But yes, I love it. Is GoldenEye on the game? Because if it is, let's just leave right now.
GoldenEye's on there.
Oh, my God.
The Bulls versus Lakers 1991 NBA Jam is on this thing. This is wild.
I love NBA Jam. You make 3 shots in a row and you're on fire.
Yeah, no, it was great. And there's like thousands of these games on this device. It was fantastic. So, unfortunately, I've kind of taken over Little Hack's gift. But I'm teaching him about the finer things in life, like Mortal Kombat, right? We did a little of that.
I was not allowed to play Mortal Kombat at Little Hack's age.
Well, I took out the bad parts. So you can get rid of the blood and stuff like that.
Wow.
Yeah, so I got rid of that part. But anyway, yeah, it's a great gift. So we did that, and he had a great time. A lot of family, a lot of friends came over. But glad to be back with you. Long work week. I'm back for one night. And then we have 2 more nights off, tomorrow and Sunday, of course, for the weekend. But there is a lot to get into, because we have a football game here in Jacksonville, Florida, coming up on Sunday. Mason Rudolph and the 3-12 Tennessee Titans come on to take in Mac Jones and the 3-12 Jacksonville Jaguars, the regular season home finale for Jacksonville. And that's actually where I want to begin, with a little Jaguars-Titans, because every night here on Hacker After Dark, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And JJ LaSelva. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal? No big deal. It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
One more game to go at Everbank Stadium in 2024, the nightmare season of the Jacksonville Jaguars. And you guys know how I feel about it. Those of you that have listened to Hacker After Dark, I don't think wins are a good thing right now. They don't help you when it comes to the draft. They don't give you, in my opinion, any confidence going into the offseason. I just think that's not true. I don't buy into that. I don't think a win on Sunday has anything to do when the team shows back up in April when they have 40% of the roster is completely new when offseason conditioning starts. I don't think wins matter this late in the year, particularly when you're without this many guys. Trevor Lawrence, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Walker Little, Darnell Savage, Ventrell Miller, go on and on and on. None of those guys are playing. You're playing a rival in the Tennessee Titans. The Titans aren't any good either. They're probably looking to get as high a draft pick as they can. Trust me, I've talked to their fans. I've talked to their media. They don't want to win this game either. They want potentially Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward in the draft. So what do we think's going to happen on Sunday? Well, here's my message to those of you that are going to the game. If you're going to the game on Sunday, then you are a diehard Jaguar fan. If you're going to the game on Sunday, then you are a passionate, bleed teal and black Jaguar diehard. And for those of you, I do hope the team wins on Sunday from that standpoint. They're 4-10 in their last 14 home games. 4-10, including only one win at Everbank Stadium this year. And every week, you guys go to that stadium hoping to see the team win, and every week, something ridiculous happens. Like Cincinnati last year, Baltimore last year, San Francisco last year, Houston last year. Fast forward to this season, whether it's Cleveland or Green Bay or Minnesota or Houston or the Jets, just getting your heart ripped out in the final minutes. So for those of you in attendance, those of you that support this team, those of you that don't necessarily care about draft positioning, from that standpoint, yeah, maybe the Jaguars do owe you one. Me personally, again, I hope the Jaguars perform well. I hope the young guys perform well. I hope they entertain us. They put on a good product for 3 hours. But I hope ultimately the Titans have more points on the scoreboard at the end of the day. But I know there's some of you that do not agree with that. And I can hear you in this situation. Being the final home game of the year, you haven't got to experience but one home win this entire season. Only 4 home wins in the last 2 seasons here at Everbank Stadium. For those of you in attendance on Sunday, for those of you that have been in that stadium or have watched these games on TV and supported this team, you do deserve a victory. And for you, maybe this once, I would hope the Jaguars win the game. Do I expect them to win the game? Yeah, I actually do. I think Tennessee is, they're worse than Jacksonville. Jacksonville beat them in Nashville a couple of weeks ago. Jacksonville, I think both teams are incredibly banged up. But Tennessee is questioning their coaching staff, who's in year 1, by the way, with Brian Callahan. There's question as to whether Tony Pollard's going to play. He's the only guy that really has done anything for them the last couple of weeks. They're playing Mason Rudolph because they benched Will Levis. I actually do think Jacksonville wins the game. And I think they send the home crowd out with maybe a little bit of a good taste in the mouths going into the offseason. Again, it will not help you in April. But I do think Jacksonville gets it done to get their emotional 4th victory of the year to go to 4-12. We're going to go to Nashville coming up here in about 35 minutes or so. Tyler Rowland is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. I want to talk to him about Tennessee, where they are coming into this game. Again, Will Levis has been benched. There are people in Tennessee that want Brian Callahan out after 1 year as the head coach. Is that even conceivable for Tennessee to do? Would they be in the Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward sweepstakes if given the opportunity? And Calvin Ridley makes his return to Jacksonville. I'm going to ask Tyler Rowland, a guy that covers the Titans every day, is there a little buyer's remorse in Nashville? Because the Titans got Calvin Ridley, that means the Jaguars had to draft a guy named Brian Thomas Jr. Do the Titans maybe regret that decision? We'll do all that with Tyler Rowland, host of the Locked On Titans podcast, coming up in about 35 minutes. As far as the Jaguars, well, every week here on Hacker After Dark, we have my buddy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jaguars, Leon Searcy. You hear him every day on Primetime. You get him weekly here on HAD. We'll have Leon coming up here in less than 10 minutes. I want to talk to him about Walker Little. Walker Little's season is over, according to Doug Peterson. Have we seen enough to say Walker Little is for sure the starting left tackle opening day in 2025? He did get that contract extension. We'll talk to Leon about that. We'll talk about the Titans rivalry, and we'll talk about potential changes on the horizon here in Jacksonville. So all Jaguars, Titans, all the time here in hour number 1. Tyler Rowland, Locked On Titans podcast in 30 minutes. Coming up next, Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for your Jacksonville Jaguars on a Friday evening, kind of a rainy Friday evening here in Duval County. Be safe out there on the roadways. It is Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Together, one play at a time.
It's the moment the game changed.
Up in the air, it is caught!
Listen for the performance painting high performance play of the game.
Are you kidding me?
On 1010XL. Performance painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Hey, John, are you a small business owner looking to make the most of your investments?
Absolutely. And now is the time to take advantage of some incredible tax deductions.
You can qualify for a 2024 tax deduction for up to 60% of the purchase price of a brand new Cadillac.
Think Escalade, Lyric, Optic, XT5, and XT6.
We have over 100 in stock at Rainy Marion Cadillac, Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville. It's the perfect time to upgrade your business fleet.
This is not tax advice. Consult with your tax advisor for further details and to determine eligibility, plus tax tag title $8.99 admin fee and resist all and approved credit.
Hey, poker fans! The Best Bet Winter Open Series returns to Best Bet Jacksonville from January 23rd to February 2nd. Satellites into the $1,500 main event kick off January 4th. Take your shot at big payouts with 8 action-packed events and $500,000 in guarantees. Visit bestbetjacks.com for more details. That's bestbetjacks.com. And we'll see you at the Winter Open starting January 23rd.
Mark Watson here to tell you a little bit about hardballcreative.com. It's your online promo haven with thousands of ideas on how to promote your company. We're open 24/7, 365.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Stop letting high-interest debt weigh you down. Pay it all off in days thanks to Loan Pronto's new Rapid Equity Loan. Hey, it's Prosser here. Imagine a completely hassle-free way to cash out your home equity. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan uses an AI-driven tech to get you approved for cash in as little as 1 day. One client got $100,000 approved in under 24 hours, wiped out their debt, launched the home improvement project, and is now saving over $1,000 a month. Instant approvals, low fixed rates, fast transfers. Get cash to consolidate all your debt and get a fresh start to the new year. Call Loan Pronto now and see how much you qualify for. Imagine this time next week, you can be credit card debt-free. Call 904-999-1508 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781 on approved credit, MLS, consumeraccess.org.
It's a Monday morning must.
We actually found it.
Yes. Hall of Fame Monday with Tony Baselli. Brought to you by Heritage Roofing of North Florida. Monday mornings at 7:20 with Dan and Jeff on the drill on 1010XL.
Hi, this is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we are the owners of Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
As we ring in the new year, we want to wish you all health, happiness, and success in 2025.
We're grateful for each of our customers, and we're here to keep things running smoothly for you. If you have any plumbing, septic, or AC issues, don't hesitate to reach out.
Our hardworking team is always ready to help, day or night. Happy New Year from all of us at Duck Duck Rooter.
Get off the ladder and put on the helmet with Gutter Helmet of North Florida. We are family owned and manufactured locally. Cleaning your gutters is a dangerous and dirty job. That's why with Gutter Helmet, you'll never clean your gutters again. Water goes in your gutters while trash and debris go on the ground. It won't collect like filters do. Gutter Helmet protects. Call now for 10% off and a free gutter cleaning and tune-up with your purchase of Gutter Helmet. Call 904-762-7779.
If you're looking for custom metalwork, look no further than Superior Fence and Rail. Whether it's custom railing, shade structures, or custom entry gates, their expert team controls the turnkey process. From CAD design and raw metal to powder-coated finish and expert installation. When you choose Superior Fence and Rail for your custom metal project, you get a project that's, well, superior. So get off the fence and call Superior Fence and Rail today.
Hey gang, Prosser here. If you want to sell your home soon or immediately after the holidays, now is the time to get the process started and get your home sold fast, easy, and at top dollar, guaranteed with my agent Chad and Sandy Newman. Perhaps you're worried about costly repairs. Maybe you need more space with a growing family. I don't care why you need to sell your home. I do know sometimes those problems can hold you back, but not with the promises of Chad and Sandy, the local real estate experts I trust and recommend. Chad and Sandy, you got this? Guarantee your home sold at an agreed-upon price and deadline, or they will buy it. No required costly repairs. Pick your move date. No long-term contracts. Christopher in Butler Beach on Anastasia said, I needed to sell my home and move somewhere smaller with less house to manage. It was unexpectedly very tough. My home had been listed with another agent for 388 days and failed to sell. I heard Chad and Sandy on the radio and called. Amazingly, multiple offers and sold in 3 days. Call Chad and Sandy today or visit them at chadandsandy.com.
At Cannons of Jacksonville, they know that when you're towing anything, you gotta have products you can rely on. With over 50 years of fabrication expertise, the family at Cannons can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Whether it's a heavy-duty hitch, trailer frame, gooseneck, tow bar, or any other towing accessory, Cannons will provide you with unmatched precision and durability. For all your towing needs, visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Make a resolution this new year to send all of your friends or family a Kuhn Flowers floral arrangement. ET here with 1010XL. Okay, how about sending just one person you love a floral arrangement? Kuhn Flowers can handle it.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans, the regular season home finale here in Jacksonville, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL, and 2 hours after the game goes final, the Pro Bowler Leon Searcy and myself will have the fifth quarter for you, as we have had all season long. Let's welcome in the former Pro Bowl offensive tackle. You hear him every day on XL Primetime, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, I hope you had a Merry Christmas, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. I had an outstanding Christmas.
Oh, that's good to hear. Good to hear. We're back, a little refreshed, and ready for more Jaguar football, Leon. The home finale against the Tennessee Titans. And boy, you know, when you looked at the schedule, I don't think anybody in their worst nightmare could have had a 3-12 Titan team coming to play a 3-12 Jaguar team. As we get ready to preview this game, Leon, just this season in a nutshell, man, it's just very frustrating, particularly when you look at what Houston did on Christmas Day. They were awful, and yet they're going to win the division. They already have won the division by default. It's just salt in the wound a little bit.
Yeah, it is, Hack. I mean, this season was it was a major fail. With all the expectations coming into this season, with all the signees, with all the draft picks, you know, this was supposed to be the year that Trevor was supposed to ascend, and that last year's debacle down the stretch was just aberration, and that somehow we were going to get back to our winning ways. And it's just unfortunate that we didn't. I mean, this team has been dysfunctional at best the vast majority of the season.
It has been, and the AFC South champions lost 31-2 on their home field on Christmas Day, and that doesn't matter. They're the South champions in Houston, and everybody else is chasing them heading into next year. All right, Walker Little, Trevor Lawrence, Evan Ingram, Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis are all done for the year. Leon, how much of a pass should this Jaguar team get due to the injuries, or do you not buy into that?
No, they don't get a pass. Absolutely not. Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of teams with a lot of key. As the Detroit Lions, how you know, they've got the MASH new unit over there on their defense side of the ball, but somehow they find a way to keep winning. I mean, so they don't absolutely get a pass. It's unfortunate that some of your key components to the season, to the roster, are not playing. But that's why you have backups. That's why you have guys. That's the reason why you draft well. That's the reason why you bring in free agents. Because when one guy goes down, the next guy's got to come in and don't miss a beat. So they absolutely do not get a pass for this season. It's unfortunate that a lot of their key players aren't playing. But no, this team does not get a pass, in my opinion.
You hear Leon Searcy every day on XL Primetime. You get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, let's go to your expertise, the offensive line. Walker Little, Doug Peterson announced that he's probably done for the year with the ankle. They extended him 3 years, $45 million. Are you confident, Leon, that when we get back into September, are you confident about Walker Little being the opening day left tackle next year for the Jaguars?
Absolutely not. I mean, listen, Walker Little, in some capacity, either last year or a year before, foremost, let's just say this, that he didn't win the position at left tackle. It was given to him once they traded Cam Robertson. And then, unfortunately, he can't stay healthy. I mean, he goes down, he gets these nicks and bruises, and he can't stay healthy for the whole season. And, I mean, and you're talking about a guy on the offensive side of the ball who's probably the second most important guy on the team outside of the quarterback, which is the blindside protector. So, I mean, I'm not here to rip the kid. I think he's a try-hard kid. I don't think he's an elite offensive lineman. I think he's steady, at best. But if I'm going into the offseason and Walker Little's gone down again, a tackle in the draft might be something I'd be very interested in moving forward.
It's interesting. You look at the stats on the offensive line, and some of it's skewed a little bit, obviously, depending on where the games are. You got to throw more than you run, and I get that. But the Jaguar offensive line, Leon, statistically is much better pass blocking than they are run blocking. Why do you believe that is?
Well, that's it. Well, that says what the team is in a nutshell. If your offensive line group and you pass protect, and don't get me wrong, pass protection is absolutely important to any aspect of the game. But if you're known as a team that pass protect and can't run block, that means you're finesse. And I'm just being old school. The last thing, when I was with the Steelers, even when I was with the Jaguars, the last thing you want to be called is a finesse offensive line. I mean, you earn your salt in the game by being physical up front, being able to run the ball effectively on short yardage situations, on goal line situations. So, I mean, listen, kudos to him statistically being one of the best in pass protection, and that's fine. But I would rather be on the other side of the coin. I would rather be an offensive line that can push the pile and is known for being mean and nasty than being able to pass protect.
If you look at positives or try to find some positives, obviously the one glaring positive is Brian Thomas Jr. He's coming off another 100-yard game, couple of touchdowns. 9 touchdowns on the year. I think he has 73 catches for 1,088 yards. And it's interesting that Calvin Ridley makes his return to Jacksonville on Sunday with the Titans, because as you and I have talked about many times, if Tennessee doesn't come in at the 11th hour and get Calvin Ridley out from underneath the Jaguars' noses, if you will, during free agency, Brian Thomas Jr. is not a Jacksonville Jaguar. And I don't think the Titans would have buyer's remorse for that, but I think Jacksonville should send Tennessee a thank you card, because clearly that worked out much better for the Jaguars.
No, absolutely. I mean, first of all, foremost, to save the franchise $70 million. I believe his contract was like $90 million collectively, and I think Brian Thomas maybe got 20 in his rookie deal. So that's number one. Number two, Brian Thomas Jr. right now is an ascending Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver. Now, it's early. I mean, I'm not going to put him in the company of his compadres that went to LSU, but I'm saying that he has the attributes as a wide receiver to possibly be one. And that's why I was excited during the draft when they drafted him, because if history speaks for itself, those LSU wide receivers, not too many of them bust. A lot of them that come into the league are outstanding. So I was hoping that we got us one. And right now, early on in his career, it looks like we've got us one of those LSU elite wide receivers.
Leon, is it to the point with BTJ that when you talk about this head coaching opening that many of us believe will be open in about a week and a half, you talk about the appeal of this job? You mentioned Trevor Lawrence, obviously, but you probably mentioned Brian Thomas Jr., right? Right along with him?
You would have to. Listen. If I'm interviewing, first and foremost, the first guy, no disrespect to the quarterback, but you got to introduce the guys that are playing at a high elite level. And Trevor's been hurt, so absolutely. If I'm interviewing any coach, I'm telling them, hey, listen, we got this young phenom at wide receiver, who's going to be ascending, that's going to help with the offense, is going to stress defenses, who's going to make the tough catches, who's going to get those yak yards when he catches the ball. I mean, yeah, that's absolutely. Listen, without a doubt, the MVP of this team, I don't even know if you should even name an MVP when you're 3-12. But Brian Thomas Jr. would absolutely be the MVP of this team this year with all the success that he's had.
You know, it would be nice, again, here with Leon Searcy, it would be nice to send the home crowd out with a win. Obviously, that's what the players and coaches want to do. Whether you want the Jaguars to win this game or not as a fan, we've certainly talked about that. But, Leon, at some point, they need to win some games at home, man. I mean, they have been awful at home. Last year, they were awful at home. This year, look, a win on Sunday would not cure all that, but at least it would give the fans a good taste in their mouths to go into the offseason because, my gracious, I mean, you look at the home record last year, they only have one home win this year. It has been a struggle at Everbank Stadium for whatever reason for this football team.
Yeah, I mean, at least for the ticket holders. I mean, this team has won one game all season long at home. Their other win was on the road against the Titans, and then they beat the Patriots in London. I mean, so yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know how far a home win this late in the game when you're 3-12 is going to inspire the fan base, but I mean, I know that Duval's finest. I mean, I know they're devoted, and they come to the games win, lose, or draw. So it will be good to go out this season, you know, with a win against a hated rival like the Titans.
You know, you look at last week, Leon, and you and I spoke about this on the fifth quarter last week a little bit. You've had a couple of days to think about it. 4 offside penalties on the defensive line. Tank Bigsby fumble, Britton Strange fumble, Mac Jones was overthrowing guys. Look, they can say all the right things, but last week it kind of looked like mentally, I'm not sure if the Jaguars were there. I mean, they were 3-11 going into that Raider game. It was a West Coast trip, and it just didn't look good, right? And now you're 3-12 coming off the holidays. I mean, are we going to know pretty quick in the first quarter on Sunday where this team is?
Absolutely, because there's a lot of distractions that went along with this week. You know, you come off a long West Coast trip to where you played just terrible, undisciplined, a bevy of follies, fumbles, offsides, lined up offsides, all that kind of stuff. So, and then you had the holidays. You had the holidays coming through. I'm sure family members are in town. Kids are running around with gifts and everything, and mistletoe and all that kind of stuff that factors into what Christmas is all about. So how can you stay focused? Are you a professional about yours? You know, because I was in those situations when I was with the Steelers and with the Jaguars, and I would tell my wife, listen, hey, we're going to have a good time. We're going to show everybody family and fun, but after Christmas, leave me the hell alone. Get everybody out the house because I got to focus in on football to feed you. So you got to be a professional about it. You really do. And it would be and what's alarming to me is because how bad this team has been playing as of late. I question, my question is how professional are these players when it comes to keeping their mind on football with all the other distractions that are around them.
We'll see what happens. There'll be the Jaguars and the Titans on Sunday. Of course, Leon and I will have the fifth quarter for you 2 hours after the game goes final. Leon, somebody's got to win the game, right? I mean, 3-12 Tennessee, 3-12 Jacksonville. I don't think either fan base, many of them really want to win this game. You talk to people in Nashville, they absolutely don't want the Titans to win because they want a top, 2 draft pick to maybe get one of those quarterbacks because I think they're done with Will Levis. What do you think happens on Sunday at Everbank Stadium?
Well, whatever happens, I hope what we saw last time these two teams played doesn't happen. I mean, that was hard to watch, bro. I mean, you're talking about a 10-6 game. You're talking about turnovers. I mean, Will Levis he's awful. He was awful in that game. Mac Jones throws 2 interceptions. Only bright part in the game, a couple of bright parts in the game. I thought ATN caught the ball, out of the backfield pretty well. BTJ had another great game. I don't know. I mean, at this point, you would hope the Jaguars play tough with the last game at home. So I think they're going to play. God, I don't even know why. I can't believe I'm about to say this. They might play some inspired football this game, it being the last home game in Jacksonville this season. So I think the Jaguars play tough. I think there's a lot of bad on both teams, but I think our bad may surface better come Sunday.
Mason Rudolph and the 3-12 Titans versus Mac Jones and the 3-12 Jaguars. It doesn't get a whole lot bigger than that. Leon Searcy, you hear him every day on Prime Time. You get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. Leon, quickly, the Pop-Tarts Bowl, man. I won't talk to you before the Pop-Tarts Bowl happens again tomorrow. What are your thoughts on your alma mater there in the Pop-Tarts Bowl?
Well, I know you're taking a shot at me. That's fine. That's okay. Y'all played in the Gasparilla Bowl. What the hell is the Gasparilla about it anyway? But, hey, that's fine. Listen, my favorite Pop-Tart is strawberry. When I was a kid, I eat it warm, I eat it cold with a glass, and drink a Yoo-hoo with it to the bus stop. How about that?
I love it. Hey, I kid because I care. You guys beat the Gators behinds earlier this year, so I have very little room to talk. Leon, regardless of what happens on Sunday, you and I will have the fifth quarter, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans go final. Appreciate you, my friend. I'll see you Sunday evening.
You got it.
There you go. Leon Searcy here with us every week on Hacker After Dark. That is the Jaguar perception of this game. What about Tennessee? They're 3-12 too. They've benched Will Levis. Is their coach Brian Callahan actually on a hot seat after only 1 year in Nashville? One of my Titan guys has been for years. Tyler Rowland is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. He joins me next to give the Tennessee side of this matchup on Sunday at Everbank Stadium. With JJ LaSilva, the hacker Ryan Green with you on a Friday evening in Jacksonville, Florida. We're glad you're with us. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
It's football all day on Pregame Friday.
Little pigskin, why not?
Get the news, notes, and inside stuff you need to get ready for game day.
It's fantastic.
Pre-Game Friday.
Brought to you by Dream Finders Homes on 1010XL.
Awaken 180 weight loss. Awaken 180 weight loss. You know, we're coming to the end of 2024, and it's been a year that has absolutely changed my life. I've lost over 100 pounds in 2024. Started back in February. Here we are in December, and it's all thanks to the great folks and the great program of Awaken 180 weight loss. The new year is coming, guys. If you've heard me for the last couple of months and you say, well, if Hacker can do it, I can do it. For starters, you're absolutely right about that. And secondly, if it's time for you to drop weight, go to awaken180weightloss.com, awaken180weightloss.com. The bottom line is this. They're changing lives. They're saving lives. I know this because I'm one of them. You could be the next. If I can do it, you can do it with Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
This is Mark Nato. My son Justin injured his hand playing baseball for JU. Southeast orthopedic specialist performed surgery just a few days later, and within 5 weeks, he was cleared to play in the ASUN baseball tournament. Our family has trusted Southeast orthopedic specialists for years. For any orthopedic injury, let Southeast orthopedic specialists take care of you too.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast orthopedic specialists.
We're H-A-P-P-Y, because Happy Honda Days are here. Everything is bigger. Bigger selection, bigger discounts, bigger trade-in values. Honda, quality, value, safety. Don't miss Happy Honda Days, going on now at your local Honda dealer.
Hey folks, Rick Ballou here for John's Auto. They've been a staple in Jacksonville going all the way back to 1985. At John's Auto, they service all makes, all models, cars, trucks, diesel, you name it. They do it, whether it's routine maintenance or a complete engine overhaul. Call John's Auto on Arlington Road. That's 904-743-3857 or go to johnsautomotivejacks.com.
Jimerson Burr is a full-service, Florida-based commercial law firm that has experience and capabilities to handle any legal issue a business is confronted with. Learn more about what they can do for you at jimersonfirm.com.
Hunters Know Patience is part of the game.
Just got to keep hunting.
Jeff Lageman, Captain Kevin Faber, and Captain Kirk Waltz on the Nimnet Outdoors Show. Presented by Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning. Saturday morning from 7 to 10 on 1010XL.
Brackish Vodka, the official vodka of UNF Athletics, 100% made in Jacksonville, is available at all local liquor stores. Visit Browdy's, Total Wine, ABC, Shores, Golden, Zahara's, Golden Ox, and more. Drink our gluten-free San Francisco Spirit award-winning vodka and see why it's the smoothest vodka you can buy. When you drink Brackish Vodka, you support all of our local employees and all the money stays in Jacksonville. Drink Brackish Vodka and live life slightly salty. Proud partner of the Jaguars.
AC replacement? If your AC unit is ready to go kaput, then it's time to call Florida Home AC. With over $3,000 in tax credits waiting for you on select systems, take advantage of it. Call 777-4300. Get Florida Home AC to cool you off.
Time now for a medical recap. A health and wellness tip from Jaguars head team physician Dr. Kevin Kaplan.
Rotator cuff tears are the most common overhead injuries I see. In order to avoid shoulder issues, make sure not to overload the front of the shoulder while also focusing on developing good scapular strength and maintaining flexibility in your lats. Proper hydration, nutrition, and supplementation are also crucial to joint and muscle health. Go Jags.
The Golf Club of Southampton has plenty going on, from a great round to a round with your buds, soaking up some football and great grub. Every Saturday and Sunday at Southampton, enjoy their game day special. Wings tossed in your favorite sauce and a cold pitcher of beer. Membership opportunities to take advantage of, too. Join Southampton with a paid initiation, and you'll get a $500 gift card. Perfect for golf, pro shop purchases, or the clubhouse. Check it out. It's all happening at the Golf Club of Southampton.
Electricians, innovators, and tech enthusiasts, listen up. Miller Electric is shaping the future, and we want you to be a part of it. From healthcare and data centers, corporate offices, aviation, and industrial facilities, Miller Electric is powering the most exciting projects in Jacksonville and beyond. We offer not just a job, but a thrilling career with great pay and incredible benefits. Visit us at millercareers.com to apply. Miller Electric, where your skills meet our vision, an equal opportunity employer.
Navy Mutual was created by service members for service members, so we know what it means to serve. Our policies have no active duty service restrictions, so you can rest assured that you're covered no matter your duty station, home or abroad. To go even further, we promise that premiums will not be higher for those who serve in dangerous environments, including aviation, diving, or on deployments. Let us help you protect those you love the most. Learn more at NavyMutual.org.
Tailgate special alert. 3 pounds of marinated chicken, 2 pounds of marinated steak tips, 2 pounds of fresh ground beef, and 2 pounds of homemade sausage for only $80 to feed your crew.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Jaguars running back Tank Bigsby with the mindset of finishing the season strong against 2 AFC South division rivals in the Titans and the Colts.
I feel like it'll be big, we do faith, fight, and finish. And those 3 things, 3 F's, and we're going to go by those things these next 2 games, and just the guys that want to come along, let's go out and get the job done for this team.
Jaguars running back Tank Bigsby. Jags fans, the JTA Game Day Express is back. Let them do the driving to the Jags-Titans game on Sunday. More information at jtafla.com. With your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update, I'm Andrew Gibson.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL. The Jaguars home finale for 2024. The 3-12 Titans, the 3-12 Jaguars, and 2 teams that are just quite frankly ready to get to the offseason. Let's go to talk to one of our Titan guys. He's Tyler Rowland. He's the host of the Locked On Titans podcast, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Tyler, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I mean, both teams are going to be in Florida if they just head to the airport,
head straight to the Caribbean, that would be fine too. I'm fine without a week 18.
Yeah, it's been a long year for both. And you and I spoke a couple of weeks ago before the game in Nashville. And Tyler, you tell me, because you're obviously a lot closer to it than I am, but the vibe I get is that when the Titans lost to the Jaguars in Nashville a few weeks back, that was a drastic change in tone when it came to the futures of Will Levis and maybe even Brian Callahan.
Yeah, 100%. And I can tell you, at least personally for me, my faith in Brian Callahan, I've preached patience throughout the season. You know, let's let this team get better. It's a new system, a lot of young players. But the Titans are doing the opposite of getting better at the end of the season like you typically like to see with a first-year head coach. They have gotten even worse. And Will Levis had played really good football for about a month, 4 straight weeks after he came back from his injury, and played really well. And then to lay an egg the way that they did against Jacksonville, and look, I'm not trying to, insult the Jacksonville fans and the team, but, Jacksonville's not a good football team. I don't think that's a hot take. And the defense has good players on it, but it has not been a great defense this year. So for the Titans to be that lackluster at home against an also bad opponent, it has to rattle your confidence because you don't have a great plan. Jacksonville has given up a ton of explosive plays in the passing game. I believe they're, bottom 7, bottom 8 in passing defense this year. And the Titans' game plan was to come out and try to run the ball down their throat. Now, Jacksonville's no juggernaut against the run, but I would just say that might not be the best plan to attack this Jacksonville defense. So I do have to say that because of the quality of Jacksonville this year, I think you would be lying if you didn't say that your confidence in Brian Callahan was hurt by that game. And then, Will Levis follows it up with another 4-turnover game against the Bengals. And it's just like, this team is so far away from what Titans fans hope that it would be. And I would say, yeah, that Jacksonville game was really kind of a, wait a minute, I don't believe in this.
Tyler Rowland is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. He's with us here on 1010XL. All right, let's take both of those, and let's start with Brian Callahan. Tyler, there's not a lot of guys that are one and done in the NFL as a head coach. Right. It's hard to do that. Do you realistically think there is a chance Callahan could be one and done?
Gun to my head, Ryan, I got to say no. And realistically, we talk about the football so much, and that's what I enjoy, the football. But the reality is, Amy Adams-Strunk, the controlling owner of the Titans, is still paying Mike Vrabel, still paying John Robinson, now paying Rand Carthon, then paying Brian Callahan if she fires him, and then has to hire a new head coach on top of that. I don't think these billionaires didn't make their money by throwing it in the garbage and setting it on fire. So even if Brian Callahan deserves to be fired after one season because of what's happened, I don't think the owner is going to pay 3 coaches at one time. So I think they're going to have a little bit of patience. They're going to blame this all on, hey, we were trying to develop Will Levis. We were trying to get an answer on Will Levis. We all agreed when I was hired that this season was about figuring out if Will Levis is the guy. Now we know that he isn't. And I should get one more year to prove that I can win with someone else. And I think that had a lot to do with Will Levis being benched, realistically. So I don't think that Brian Callahan gets fired this offseason, but I can't sit here and tell you that it wouldn't be deserving if the owner was willing to do it.
You might have just answered my next question, but we know Will Levis has been benched in favor of Mason Rudolph. So is it safe to say the Will Levis era, if you will, of Titan football is over?
Yeah, I think him as the answer going forward has probably been extinguished in most people's minds in the building and outside of it. Now, will he be on the roster next year? I can't guarantee you that he won't be because, who's to know if they can trade him? He's got 2 years left on his rookie contract. So we don't know about that for sure. But it does seem like the Will Levis era is over. And I think him being benched, like I was saying, to bring it back to Callahan, I think that is Brian Callahan saying to the owners, look, I was trying to develop your young quarterback. We wanted to see what we had in him. We know now that he's never going to be anything but a turnover machine. I mean, Will Levis makes some great plays. He's got a strong arm. He makes some throws that not every quarterback in the NFL can make. But the turnovers just kill you. And he's just always been a turnover-prone player, even back to his college days. So I think Brian Callahan benching him is Brian Callahan saying, hey, look, I'll win games. I'll have us playing better with a backup quarterback. So imagine what it would be like if we had a decent starting quarterback. So I think all of it is being blamed on Will Levis for better or for worse. And Brian Callahan scored 30 against the Colts, and that score looked okay, but they got down 31-7 and looked like a team that was quitting on their head coach for most of the game. So I don't know if that route is going to go as well as Brian Callahan hopes.
I want to ask you about the game and the future of the Titans here on Sunday and beyond. Before we get there, Calvin Ridley makes his return to Jacksonville on Sunday. And it's interesting, and I'm not saying the Titans have any buyer's remorse or anything like that, because obviously one has very little to do with the other. But a direct result of the Titans coming in at the 11th hour and getting Calvin Ridley was the Jaguars having to pivot to draft a kid named Brian Thomas Jr. And you see what Brian Thomas is becoming here in Duval County. So from Titan fans, Titan media like you guys, I mean, knowing what the Jaguars have now in Brian Thomas, maybe buyer's remorse is the right word when it comes to Calvin Ridley in Tennessee.
Well, I would say that if the thought path is that if they didn't sign Calvin Ridley, the Titans might end up with Brian Thomas Jr., then I would agree with you. But the reality is that wasn't happening. So it's not like if the Titans didn't sign Calvin Ridley, they would have ended up with Brian Thomas Jr. It's not a one-for-one swap there. If the Titans didn't have Calvin Ridley this year, I mean, it would be so much more painstaking week to week. I know his statistics aren't gaudy, and he's going to be right on the line of 1,000-yard season, whether he goes over or just a little under, I don't know. But Calvin Ridley should have 1,200 yards in this offense. Calvin Ridley's been excellent. He's been open. He's a top 10 separator in the NFL this year. The Titans have just had horrible quarterback play all year long. It's hilarious how Mason Rudolph and Will Levis's stats are similar. If you look at them, they're just right down the board, basically the same. It's unbelievable. Yards per attempt and yards per game and all that. It's really funny, well, in a sad way. But I think Calvin Ridley's been fine. I don't think there's any buyer's remorse. You look at his contract, he's basically like the 16th or 17th highest paid wide receiver in the NFL now, which is about where I think he belongs. He's in that, 16 to 32 range for wide receivers, in my opinion. He has saved them in some games and made some plays in some games where they had nothing else going. So I do think it worked out better for Jacksonville because Brian Thomas Jr. is already as good of a player as Calvin Ridley, and obviously he's a rookie, so that's a major win with the contract and the potential. Not going to deny that Jacksonville won that exchange, but I don't think the Titans erred in judgment in any significant way. Calvin Ridley's been fantastic this year with a lot of crap around him, so I'm happy with Calvin Ridley, and just from a purely fan standpoint, it's been fun to watch him play football in a bad offense.
Final moments, Tyler Rowland, the host of the Locked On Titans podcast. All right, that brings us to Sunday. Obviously, not a lot of intrigue around this game, save the draft. And look, there was a situation a few years ago, about a decade ago now, a little over, where the Jaguars played the Indianapolis Colts in the final week of the regular season. If the Colts would have won that game, that would have cost them Andrew Luck. And we were screaming here, do not win this game. And obviously the players and the coaches don't care, but the fan base did. And Indianapolis went on to lose the game and draft Andrew Luck. Are we something similar with Tennessee? I mean, are they staring Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward in the face? And if the Jaguars beat the Titans, you might as well hand Sanders or Ward to Tennessee, or as if Tennessee wins, that could hurt their chances of getting one of those quarterbacks.
Well, I think there are a couple of things here. Number one, there isn't an Andrew Luck available, and maybe that's just my personal opinion, but I am not super high on Sanders or Ward as quarterback prospects. I think if they were in last year's draft, they're second rounders. They don't even go in the first round, let alone breaking up that top 6 of quarterbacks that went in the top 12. So I'm just not very high on these two quarterbacks. I think Sanders is a guy who, if the Titans drafted him, I would say, okay, I'm willing to see what he can do here. But the problem is the Giants are, 2 wins, and I don't think that the Giants are winning another game the rest of the year, maybe when Philadelphia sits their players in week 18. So even if the Titans lose this game, get to the second pick, there's still no guarantee that they're going to get Shedeur Sanders. And there's been conflicting reports in Tennessee. We've heard that they're not looking to draft a quarterback this year from a local radio guy, but ESPN's reporter that covers the Titans mentioned on a social media post that they are interested in Shedeur Sanders. So it's hard to know right now exactly what the Titans think. But, yeah, I think overall both these teams would be better off to lose. I know that you can't go out there and try to lose. You can't go out there and tell the players, hey, we're losing today. But if the Titans win that game, they could jump up as high as the 9th pick in the draft because of strength of schedule not being in their favor as it hasn't been for the last 2 years. So it would just be absolutely devastating to the Titans, whether they want quarterback or not. I mean, this team, unlike Jacksonville, does not have a good young wide receiver, does not have good edge rushers, does not have offensive tackles that they're locked into. Like, the Titans need so much on this roster that getting an Abdul Carter, a Kelvin Banks, a Tetaroa McMillan, a Travis Hunter, it would just absolutely be critical to their roster building process. So I know that you can't tell the players to lose, but man, the Titans got to do everything they can to make sure they get ahead of Jacksonville in the draft.
Tyler, final question. Odds are the Jaguars are going to be looking for a new head coach in about a week and a half. The name Mike Vrabel has been thrown about here in Jacksonville, at least a little bit. He's obviously being thrown about in a lot of places. What is your thought on Vrabel? Do you think he gets back in this year, and what kind of coach will he be?
I definitely think he gets back in this year. And even last year when I was calling for Mike Vrabel to be fired, my tagline was Mike Vrabel is a good coach. He's not the right coach for where the Titans are at. So I do believe he's a good football coach. I do believe that he's going to get hired this year. And I think Jacksonville is actually a very interesting fit. Mike Vrabel is the type of coach I don't think needs to jump onto a young roster and build it up. He's a guy who needs to come into a roster with a ton of talent that just needs an adult in the room to do the right things. And I think that's exactly what Jacksonville needs. I'm surprised a little bit with how bad it's been in Jacksonville. I think there's a lot of talent on the roster. They got a lot to like at key positions, like offensive tackle and edge and wide receiver. You know, even in the secondary, I think they got some good pieces. So I think there's talent on the team. They just need a solid, mature direction. So I think Mike Vrabel would be a very good fit. The only thing you got to worry about with Vrabel is he does not do a great job with hiring coordinators. Once Arthur Smith left the Titans, Mike Vrabel struggled to find a good offensive coordinator. They had some of the worst offenses in the NFL. So Mike Vrabel is one of those guys where he gets the team ready. They're going to be prepared. They're going to have good leadership. They're going to be a smart physical football team. But him hiring other assistant coaches is where his downfall is. So if he can have some help there, make some good decisions there, you have yourself a really good football coach.
Tyler Rowland is the host of the Locked On Titans podcast, Jaguars and Titans, Sunday, 1 o'clock. You'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Tyler, happy holidays. Happy New Year, my friend. Thank you as always. We'll talk again soon.
You as well, Ryan. Thanks.
If you like to wake up to Teal Talk on game day, we have your favorite caller. Beautiful. On the Terminix Kickoff Show, live from Tailgaters Parking.
I love it.
Brought to you by Gatorade and Clearwater Irrigation on 1010XL. Now you can watch 1010XL shows all day on X, Facebook, and YouTube. Brought to you by MyBookie. Experience Vegas from the comfort of your phone anytime, anywhere. Sign up today. Use promo code 1010XL.
Do the Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
Garber Auto Mall is home of the lifetime warranty. Every new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chevy, Buick, GMC, and Ford comes with a lifetime warranty. At Garber Auto Mall, your purchase is covered for life. Visit us in Green Cove Springs or at GarberAutomall.com. And remember, at Garber Auto Mall, there's always a little room for wiggle.
Garber wiggle, Garber wiggle, 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 Garber wiggle.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick, we're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees, about $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org and you can apply there.
Apply by May 15th.
Here's Ben and
John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hi, this is Jeff Norman.
And I'm Mike Jones.
And we are the owners of Duck Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning.
As we ring in the new year, we want to wish you all health, happiness, and success in 2025.
We're grateful for each of our customers, and we're here to keep things running smoothly for you. If you have any plumbing, septic, or AC issues, don't hesitate to reach out.
Our hardworking team is always ready to help, day or night. Happy New Year from all of us at Duck Duck Rooter.
Value or flavor? Price or taste? Why choose when you can get both with everyday deals at Sonny's? Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, and all you can eat ribs for just $19.99. Yep, you heard right. All your favorites are now available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pitmasters since '68.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carlyon for MyBookie. While other books make promises, MyBookie delivers. This holiday season, they're stacking the deck in your favor with 12 days of Christmas now through the 31st, a festive lineup of can't-miss opportunities for bettors to cash in. Risk-free Thursdays, super boosts, and free bets. Weekly casino giveaways with hundreds of winners and thousands in cash prizes. All it takes is a 50-cent spin on BetSoft slots to enter. With the road to New Orleans, bowl games galore, and a Christmas Day sports feast featuring NFL action and an NBA doubleheader, this is your season to win. The 12 Days of Christmas event is live right now. Lock in today. Use my code 1010XL with your first deposit, and MyBookie will give you a little extra to start your holiday hot. MyBookie is offering a 50% deposit bonus for 1010XL listeners. Just sign up and use promo code 1010XL. There's a reason MyBookie has been the go-to for serious bettors for 10 years. Make your holiday season a jolly one with MyBookie.
Bull riding. The perfect fusion of strength, skill, and pure willpower. Professional bull riders aren't just athletes. They're daredevils with cowboy souls. Come experience the true modern West, where 8 seconds of glory will create a lifetime of memories. It's the Michelob Ultra PBR Jacksonville at ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena, February 22nd and 23rd. Tickets available at Ticketmaster.com and PBR.com. Hold on tight. The ride of your life is about to begin.
Hey, it's Mike Dempsey, and you know how I feel about Pella Windows and Doors. Great design, strongest warranties, and the highest quality product. I even chose Pella Windows for my own home. And whether you're a homeowner replacing windows or building a new home or a trade professional working with clients, I know the design experts at Pella will help your project run smoothly and look great. Visit PellaJacks.com or the Pella showroom on Phillips Highway. That's Pella Windows and Doors.
Now that's what I call high-quality H2O. If you want high-quality water in your home at a fair price that won't scare you to death, then talk to someone who knows water and is not a pushy salesman. Contact your local water boy, Keith. I install premium equipment and can repair or even rebuild your existing system. In a business known for aggressive sales tactics, let me show you how my approach is different. If you've got any water problems, contact the water boy at waterboyjack.com.
Atlantic Self-Storage, the official storage partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Need to make room to watch football in your home or need a place to park your boat or RV? Store it all at Atlantic Self-Storage. Over 50 locations in Northeast Florida. 24-hour access, all with month-to-month leases. Moving? They can help with supplies. They make storage easy. Go to AtlanticSelfStorage.com or call 877-WE-STORE to find a storage solution near you. Go Jags!
For lost or broken keys or nearly any make and model of vehicle, call 722-1111 for
Instant Keys. Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 8 o'clock tonight here on Hacker After Dark, kicking into a weekend where the Jaguars will have their final regular season home game of the year against the Tennessee Titans. Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, joins us at the bottom of the 7 o'clock hour to give his thoughts on not only this game coming up against Tennessee, but about the future. I mean, keep in mind, it's weird what's going on here. We are 10 days away from Black Monday. And will we see changes on Black Monday? If we do see changes, how many changes? Potentially coaching staff, general manager, all of the above, or none of the above. We're going to find out within the next week and a half, one would anticipate. So it should be a pretty interesting 10 or 11-day stretch here in Jacksonville. Also, we'll go to Gainesville. Coming up in less than 15 minutes, Graham Hall, 247sports.com, Swamp 247. We'll put a bow on the Florida Gator season. Of course, they ended with a bowl victory 1 week ago against Tulane. We'll talk a little transfer portal with Graham Hall. And I want to talk a little Gator basketball. I know a lot of attention now will go to Gator hoops, and it should. Florida is in the top 10 in America. They are one of, I think, 4 or 5 teams that are still undefeated. A perfect 12-0. They're on the court Sunday against Stetson. They obviously should win that game. They will be 13-0 for only the second time, I believe, in school history. And then they start conference play, and it's a crazy conference start, going to Rupp Arena to play Kentucky, and then playing the number 1 team in the land, the Tennessee Volunteers, in their first 2 SEC games. So we'll do a little Gator football and a little Gator basketball talk with Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports against Swamp 247. That comes up in about 15 minutes. I hate to pass along sad news on this Friday evening, but boy, some sad news did come in about an hour and a half ago. One of the voices of my childhood, I know one of the voices of many of your childhoods as well in the world of sports, Greg Gumbel, has passed away at the age of 78. His family released a statement earlier this afternoon. CBS Sports has come out with a statement as well. Again, Greg Gumbel, 78 years old. You think of the selection show and March Madness and the great Greg Gumbel there for many, many, many years. You think of so many huge NFL games. I know so many huge Jaguar games that Greg Gumbel was on the call for. Again, just this one kind of hit me a little bit. I remember, the night Dick Enberg passed away, just certain ones hit you. And when I saw that Greg Gumbel, again, 78, it's a good life. That's certainly not all that old, though. As we all get older, 78 certainly doesn't seem that old anymore to a lot of us. Just unfortunate news that Greg Gumbel has passed away tonight at the age of 78, but pouring in a lot of support from colleagues, media members, NFL, NBA have also released statements about the passing of Greg Gumbel. So certainly prayers up to his family and friends and everybody associated there. But that's a tough one. March Madness, I always remember those selection shows with the great Greg Gumbel giving all the teams and all the brackets and all the NFL games that Greg Gumbel was a part of. And he obviously goes back years and years. I think I read in his biography, 50 years of sports broadcasting for Greg Gumbel. And again, prayers up to his family, his friends. We lose Greg Gumbel today at the age of 78. Hate to have a downer to go into the weekend a little bit, so we'll continue with the world of sports. And look, you look at this weekend coming up, bowl games tonight and tomorrow, NFL. There's actually 3 NFL games tomorrow. There's actually a really big NFL game tomorrow between the Broncos and the Bengals. This is kind of Cincinnati's last stand to make the postseason. They basically have to win out with Joe Burrow and the Bengals. That begins tomorrow. They need to win their last 2 and get some help. You also have games, a triple header of games tomorrow to lead into Sunday's slate. And we mentioned bowl games. North Carolina plays tomorrow. Colorado plays tomorrow. And the Miami Hurricanes play tomorrow against Iowa State in the Pop-Tarts Bowl. JJ, I kind of kidded Leon earlier, but there's nothing to be upset about. A 10-2 Miami season. I am curious, though. Mario Cristobal, Cam Ward, and the fellas playing tomorrow. Do you think they'll be into it? I mean, they were so close to making the playoff, and now they're playing Iowa State in the bowl game tomorrow. Do you think Miami shows up?
I don't know. It's so hard to tell with these bowl games, but I do think with Cam back, and, he brought everybody else back, too. The ones that didn't hit the portal, the ones that are going to the draft, they all came back to play this. So I fully expect the offense to be running on full cylinders. But we all know that wasn't the issue. Do I think it's going to be I would say they're going to try their hardest on offense, but even if they try their hardest on defense, it doesn't really matter. They've been getting absolutely destroyed. So I think it's going to be another one of these 42-38 games. It should be pretty exciting. 3:30 tomorrow.
Well, and the thing is, too, people were asking, why is Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders? I know Jackson Dart announced today. Why are all these guys all of a sudden playing in their bowl games? That's NIL, man. That's a direct result of NIL. These guys are getting money now, whereas 4, 5, 6 years ago when all these guys are opting out of bowl games, they weren't getting this cash that they're getting. So it's kind of in their contract, right? You finish out the season, we're going to pay you.
I don't know about that.
Oh, I
don't
think
know if they are getting paid by the game.
Well, I don't know about that, but I mean,
think
if
they're
you
getting paid the same that they were, and I think that started because of Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders came out like 2 months ago and was like, all my guys are playing. And because Shedeur is playing, Cam's had a rivalry with Shedeur like this entire time, the entire season. So I think that started a trend. I don't think these guys get paid like by the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe they don't get paid by the game, but it's just too much of a coincidence that NIL is in the game now and that all these guys are all of a sudden playing bowl games.
Well, 2 guys?
Well, no. I mean, Jackson Dart announced he's playing.
But how high is Jackson Dart? Like that. None of these guys are supposed to be like the number 1 overall pick with a bullet. You know what I'm saying? Like besides the big 2 at the top, the rest of these guys are arguably not even first-round picks.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is I think it's better for the game if these guys play in the bowl games.
I agree with that. I'm just saying there's not any stipulation in any of these NIL deals that says it's a game-to-game contract.
I'm certainly
don't
not
buy that.
Yeah, I'm not complaining about it whatsoever. I just think it is an interesting thing that NIL is in the game, and now all Shedeur and Cam particularly are deciding to play. But nevertheless, bowl games, NFL, it's going to be a fun weekend. Let's talk a little Gator basketball, a little Gator football, a little transfer portal as well. Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247, joins me next on a Friday evening. It's Hacker After Dark right here on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM.
Every NFL Sunday starts with a kickoff.
All you got to do is put your foot right through the ball.
After the game, we'll crown the special teams player of the game.
He is a difference maker now.
Brought to you by Crown Royal
This is the last play of the game.
on 1010XL.
Baloo here for Smoonez Vision. Why Smoonez Vision? Well, I've been with Dr. Neil Smoonez now since I got back to Jacksonville in 2006. 37 years of experience he has. Smoonez Vision is a family organization that focuses on personal high-quality medical and surgical eye care. Dr. Catherine Smoonez is fellowship-trained in cornea and cataract surgery and all refractive surgery. Combined, that's 30 years plus in laser eye surgery. Visit SmoonezVision.com today. Here you can see.
I've known Glenn Cohen for a long time as a friend and a lawyer. Persistent and fair, Glenn and his firm have represented clients from North Florida and South Georgia for over 40 years in all kinds of personal injury cases. If I had such a case, call Glenn at Barnes & Cohen.
Mia here. Since 1982, Closets by Design has specialized in creating dream spaces for every budget. My designer, Frances, made the process so easy. She came to my house and designed a walk-in closet that's not only beautiful, but incredibly functional for me and Bo Valentine. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation at 800-293-3744 or visit closetsbydesign.com. And be sure to check out their end-of-year sale, including 18-month special financing. Closets by Design.
If you're searching for a new fence installation, challenge yourself to find a fence company with more positive online reviews than Superior Fence and Rail. With over 3,000 reviews and a 4.9 out of 5 review range, Superior Fence and Rail is, well, superior. So take the online challenge or let their professional team show you what superior service looks like. Superior Fence and Rail, where quality matters.
SuperiorFenceandRail.com.
Hey folks, Dave Binion with Zero Res. I asked my wife what she wants for Christmas, and she said the same thing she does every year. She wants a clean home full of family and friends. That means the carpets, the tile and grout, the large oriental rug in our family room, and the huge sectional sofa that everyone loves to hang out on all need a good Zero Res cleaning. Give Zero Res a call and get your carpets cleaned for only $49 a room, and get your tile and grout cleaned for 25% off. Zero Res spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go to the...
On 1010 XL.
Frank Franzi here for Stanley Pools. You know, pool design has come a long way, and if your pool is outdated, Stanley Pools specializes in bringing older pools up to date for the whole family to enjoy. That's why I did it a few years ago, and man, I love the way my pool looks now after we added travertine pavers and so much else. Stanley Pools has been serving our community since 1988, so call them today at 269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
Hello, First Coast. I'm sure by now you have seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We're an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We're committed to customer service, reliability, and have an unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today from GFL, Green for Life.
Hi, Jags fans. Walker Little here for my friends at Kingfish Pest Control. Playing offensive line in the NFL, I must block and protect on every down. When it comes to keeping my home pest-free, I expect that same level of protection. So I contacted Kingfish after seeing thousands of positive online customer reviews about their service. I can confirm from personal experience, bugs don't stand a chance getting past Kingfish Pest Control. Do what I did. Reach out to Kingfish Pest Control to protect your home, a proud partner of your Jacksonville Jaguars.
Hey everybody, Mike Dempsey here. Listen, I'm all about a sure thing. I like putting my money down knowing I'm going to win, and that's exactly what Awaken 180 was for me, a sure bet. I dropped 25 pounds in just over a month, and let me tell you, the results speak for themselves. Now imagine this. You start Awaken 180 now, and when February rolls around, you've already lost 20 pounds. Or maybe you're like Matt Hayes, down 40 pounds by March. And don't even get me started on Hacker. Dude's lost over 100 pounds. Life-changing results, and I got to see it firsthand. Awaken 180 isn't some gimmick. You eat, you're never starving, and the weight just comes off fast. No guesswork, no crash diets, just a plan that works. And the best part, it's built to last thanks to free support for life. Don't wait for another failed resolution. Start your new year with the program that is the sure bet. Visit awaken180weightloss.com or call 844-346-1800. Make sure this year is the year you win big with Awaken 180.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and if I know anything about the dudes that listen to 1010, they've got their own list of toys that they'd like to have for Christmas. You've got some of them in your showroom.
We've got all of them. We've got the toys for them. We got the toys for the kids. We got go-karts, dirt bikes, side-by-sides, ATVs, you name it. We've got it, and we are ready for Christmas.
So you can shop for yourself and for your loved ones. It's all happening at Cycles of Jacksonville, online or on Atlantic near Regency.
Our most popular meat combo is ready to grill this season. Pounds and pounds of marinated steak tips and chicken, fresh ground beef, and homemade sausage. Just ask for the sampler combo.
For tasty tips and juicy breasts, choose Southern Steer Butcher.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Florida football season is now in the rearview mirror. They end on a 4-game winning streak. They end 8-5 overall with that bowl victory last week over Tulane. Florida got some fantastic news over the weekend as 5-star Dallas Wilson is now officially a Florida Gator. What do we make of Billy Napier's third year on campus. Obviously, he will now be back for year number 4. And we also have to talk about this Gator basketball team, which is 12-0 now for only the second time in school history. Let's talk about all of it with Graham Hall, 247sports.com down in Gainesville. He does a terrific job covering the Florida Gators, and he's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Graham, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. I hope you're doing well as well. You know, I think if anyone had predicted 8 wins for Florida back in, you know, even August, I think they would have been laughed at. But here Florida is, and it's hard not to be satisfied with what they were able to do, and get that bowl game win for the first time in the Napier era is certainly impressive in my mind.
Yeah, no question about it. A dominating win over Tulane. And let's start right there. I mean, from 4-5 to 8-5, you end the playoff chances for LSU and Ole Miss. You beat your rival. You win your bowl game. I mean, I don't know if there's anything about the positive momentum going into the offseason, at least on the field, but at least public perception-wise, Graham, there's obviously a lot of momentum for Florida heading into 2025.
Yeah, absolutely. You get DJ Lagway back. You add to that recruiting class there that we're going to talk about here in a little bit, and you certainly, I think, get some momentum. And now you got to go out there in the portal still and do some more work. But what Florida has done so far, getting Napier back, we'll see how they restructure the coaching staff here. It certainly, I think, is a lot more of a positive place than they were at this time last year, where so many people were speculating that maybe he was a dead man walking. Are you prematurely getting those obituaries filed in the system here for him? The schedule doesn't get much more favorable, so that's something that Florida's going to have to overcome once again. But it's hard not to say that the program's in a really good place, because look at what Lagway was able to do this season. There's already talk of him being one of those early front runners for the Heisman Trophy. You look at what he was able to do in the 7 games that he was out there this season. Only 1 loss, and it was in a game that he didn't finish when he went down against Georgia. So a lot of reasons to be positive. Florida's defense made strides towards the end of the season there. The offensive line was much better than it was last year, and they're going to bring back the majority of the starting line, only losing right tackle Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. You bring back some talented running backs as well. Jaden Baugh, Katie Daniels got a touchdown in the bowl game against Tulane. You bring back Jacoby Jackson. You add to the wide receiver core. Defensively, there's going to be some questions that need to be answered at the edge position, in the secondary as well, with Florida losing Jason Marshall Jr., a handful of others. So certainly if they can go out there and do those things, then expectations are going to be higher for this team than they were this year. And that's the way you want to be moving, the upward trajectory direction that Florida has long sought, rather than kind of being stuck in the mud here, which was really the case for the first 2 years of the Napier era. So a lot of reasons to be positive about this team, but certainly some questions still to answer, and we'll have to wait nearly 250 plus days for those now.
Graham Hall, 247sports.com, here with us on 1010XL in Jacksonville. All right, Dallas Wilson, the 5-star from Tampa, his recruitment was wild. Was committed to Oregon for like 700 days, signed with Oregon on signing day in early December. Gator fans were upset about that, at least the ones that follow recruiting, because there was a lot of talk that he was going to flip to Florida. He did not. And then 2 weeks go by, and all of a sudden, Graham, Florida fans wake up one morning last week, and there's all this talk about Dallas Wilson wanting out of his letter of intent, wanting to come to Florida, and would it happen, and would he be granted the release from his situation out there in Eugene? And he was. And then we saw him at the bowl game. We saw him at the Gator basketball game on Saturday in the win over UNF. And now, lo and behold, here we are. Dallas Wilson, one of the best wide receivers in America, has indeed signed reportedly with the University of Florida. What a wild recruitment. What a win for Billy Napier. And what do you think that means for the future of the wide receiver room?
Yeah, I think this is another reason why you don't give up on players, even if you finish second, because the transfer portal, you want to monitor their statuses. And if something changes the next year or in a couple of months, you can be the landing spot for them. And Florida has seen that multiple times in recent years. Go back to January last year. They get DeAndre Robinson, who gets asked out of his letter of intent from Texas. They get Jameer Grimsley, who goes through bowl practices in Alabama, and he enters the portal and lands at Florida. A handful of others as well. But sometimes it can be really soon where you end up finishing second, and then a couple of weeks later, you end up landing that player. That was the case with Dallas Wilson. You know, this is a guy who, as much as he liked Oregon, was beginning to look at the distance from his hometown of Tampa, leaving his grandparents who he was living with, And having family at the games was something that maybe he didn't realize initially how much of a priority it was for him, but it certainly dawned on him in the last 2 weeks here. And he ends up asking to be released from, we no longer have these signed letters of intent. They sign a financial aid affidavit, which kind of locks you in with a program, and you have to ask to be released from that. He asked for his release on Tuesday of last week here. He was granted it 48 hours later. There was a lot of talk that he was going to quickly flip to Florida, but doing his due diligence, took an official visit to the program, which was something he was trying to do back in November, never made it to town for the visit. He ends up taking an official visit there, all but confirms that Florida is the place that he wants to be, just 2 hours from his home, as his grandparents are dealing with some health problems that are going to allow them to be close to the game, and him also to be able to go down there really quickly if he needs to take care of them. He actually left his official visit Saturday night to go down there and see his grandma. So this is a guy who clearly cares about family. He wants to have a chance to be successful, and being able to know that his family is going to be looked after, he can go visit them, is going to allow him to focus on his future career. And I think that all those circumstances coming together, him wanting to play with certainly a young, talented quarterback like DJ Lagway, play with some other top receivers such as, Vernell Brown III, factored into his decision. But this is why Florida didn't give up, even when they finished second to him 2 weeks ago on early signing day, and they get their top recruit in their 2025 class 2.5 weeks after signing it. That doesn't happen too often, but it's maybe why sometimes we need to hold off on some of these rash judgments and wait to see where the chips all fall. And like Billy Napier says, who's on campus on January 12th is who I'm going to bank on having on the roster. And I don't think 2 weeks ago people thought that they would have Dallas Wilson on campus, but lo and behold, here we are a couple of days before Christmas talking about one of the top recruits in the 2025 class now becoming a member of the Florida Gators.
And when you consider Dallas Wilson, Vernell Brown, Nashawn Montgomery, there is a legit argument that Florida landed the best wide receiver class in America. No question about that. A couple of more for Graham Hall, 24/7 Sports, Swamp 247 with us here on 1010XL. Graham, final football-related question. The portal has been a little underwhelming for Gator fans. They've lost some guys like Jack Piber and TJ Searcy. They haven't added that many guys, although they did add a couple over the weekend. But what I'm telling Gator fans is this. They already secured the best interior defensive lineman and probably the two best offensive linemen they could have this offseason. When Caleb Banks, Jake Slaughter, and Austin Barber all announced they're coming back, that was enormous for the Gators. We're still in kind of a wait and see, I guess, with Tyreek Sapp. He's the last one. But Banks, Slaughter, and Barber have been huge additions to the 2025 roster.
Yeah, I think the retainment is probably one of the most underrated aspects of how transfer portal recruiting and NIL allocation are used. When you have players who have a decision to make, not just entering the transfer portal, but potentially heading to the NFL draft, making sure that you can get them back is just as valuable, if not more valuable, in my opinion, than going out there and landing players who are looking for a new home because they understand the system. They're already well liked within their team. You already know, especially if they're a starter, that they're going to be able to contend for that job. You're not going to have this adjustment process with the coaching. This is massive for Florida. Getting Jake Slaughter back was someone that I had told people before early signing day on our message board at Swamp 247 that was where things were trending. And he comes out and says that, I didn't think it was a big deal for me to announce that I was going to come back to Florida and finish what I started, a lifelong Gator who wants to be here. Austin Barber, I think, was a little more up in the air. I thought that there was a chance that he was going to enter the NFL draft early, just knowing that he had strung together a healthy season, which was something he was really unable to do the last 2 years where he'd been hindered by shoulder injury and ankle injury. But now he's going to come back for his 5th season at Florida and gives Florida a really promising offensive lineman. And then Caleb Banks was someone who people were projecting to be one of the top defensive tackles taken in the NFL draft. And you also talk about the transfer portal. The interior of the defensive line is a position where there are not a ton of players with experience who are talented, who are out there in the portal right now. It is a hot commodity, and you certainly could believe that he had some suitors out there. So getting those 3 guys back, securing a couple others that behind the scenes haven't really been as well documented is certainly huge for Florida. Obviously, getting DJ Lagway back, you got to mention that one, because every team in the country would have loved to pull him out of Gainesville. So those are massive additions for Florida. And then to talk about the overall transfer portal activity, I do think that this is an era right now, this year especially, where taking a more patient approach would be the wise move to make. I think that a lot of people believe, there's less limits on how many visitors you can have in the transfer portal. We need to be more active. Florida really only had, 6 or 7 available slots to hand out in the transfer portal because the SEC is going to wait a year before going to that 105-man limit. They're just going to stay at 85 in 2025. And so being a little bit patient was certainly something that I think is in everyone's best interest. And you got to remember that there are going to be more talented players over the next 6 weeks that are going to enter the portal. I know the portal closes on December 28th, but with the expanded college football playoff, after each team's season comes to an end, players still have 5 days to enter the portal if they want, whether it's after that December 28th window or before it. So you're going to see players from 12 teams here in the coming weeks enter the portal who didn't immediately enter. They wanted to finish their season in the college football playoff before that. So waiting for more talented players to enter is certainly something that I think is a wise decision, because rather than filling up all your roster spots in the initial 2 weeks here, you can wait to see who enters and then maybe be a little bit more selective and competitive with those players. So I do think that it's a wise approach. Maybe it's one that's a little bit frustrating to Florida fans who have seen Florida be a little bit slow in the transfer portal the last 2 years. But this year it makes more sense than ever to, I think, be a little bit more patient and see how things shake out.
Graham Hall, 247sports.com. Graham, in the time we have left, let's go to basketball. Boy, they're good, man. 12-0. They're 4-0 against ACC teams. Wins over Florida State, Wake Forest. You've got a victory over Virginia, North Carolina, Arizona State out of the Big 12. I mean, their non-conference is pretty good. They're going to be 13-0, barring a huge upset entering conference play. I mean, how excited should Gator fans be as conference play opens up here in about a week and a half?
I mean, very excited. This is a team that is much more well-balanced than they were a year ago. Not only is the offense, once again, one of the best in the country, but their defense is fantastic. They're in the top 25 in defensive efficiency heading into this game next week against Stetson. This is a team that any concerns, I think, about the facilitating, losing Zion Poland have been alleviated because it's been a collective effort. Walter Clayton is a better passer than was advertised heading into this year. You have Elijah Martin, who is just extremely smart with the basketball. He can drive to the rim effectively, takes contact well, good outside shooter, really good defender. Will Richard, I think, has stepped up his game tremendously. He's much more comfortable putting the ball on the floor, driving to the rim, facilitating, and his defense has been fantastic compared to a year ago. The front court, I think, still, this is maybe something that it makes Florida even more dangerous than they have been so far. The front court, they can get a little bit more out of them. I think that Ruben Chinyelu, as good as he has been at times defensively, you haven't seen the offensive output from him too often. Alex Condon hasn't been relied upon too much, but he can give you 20 points on any given night. And he can also lead Florida on the glass consistently here. This is a team that could be even better as we get into conference play. Obviously, the caveat is staying healthy, making sure that you don't suffer a letdown. But this team is saying all the right things. They've said consistently that they're not going to be satisfied with anything they do between now until March, even if they win every single regular season game, which if you're following the SEC, I wouldn't bet on that happening because the conference is poised to put probably 13 teams in March Madness here. So if they can continue to take care of business, continue to improve here, Florida has a contender in my mind. This is certainly a team that, obviously all bets are off when you get into the NCAA tournament here, but right now they look like one of the best teams in the country. Those battles against Kentucky in the first week of January, when they play Auburn in the first week of February here, a handful of other SEC teams that look really good. Oklahoma is flying under the radar. Missouri is better than people think. I mean, I say it time and time again, if you can win double-digit SEC games in this league, especially knowing it got even tougher adding Texas and Oklahoma, you are one of the best teams in the country in my mind, and Florida has taken care of business in non-conference play to where if they do win double-digit games, even if it's just 10 or 11, which to be honest, I don't expect that. I expect them to win 13, 14 games in conference play. You're talking about one of the best teams in the country that is kind of on a trajectory to win 26, 27 regular season games, and that is just absolutely fantastic in my mind. If you're a Florida fan who is looking for something to be excited about now with football in the rearview mirror, look no further than the Florida basketball team because they are absolutely fantastic right now.
Yeah, they're top 10 in America. Again, undefeated, 12-0. They have a little bit of a break here. They don't play again until December 29th. And then you want to talk about diving right in to conference play. Rupp Arena in Lexington to kick it off on January 4th, I believe. And then January 7th, the number one team in the land, Tennessee, comes to Gainesville. So that should be a heck of a lot of fun. Graham Hall, 247sports.com, Swamp 247. Graham, I know you're busy, man. Thank you for taking time out. Happy holidays to you and your family, and we'll do it again soon, pal.
Always my pleasure. Everyone out there, hope they have a great holidays. If you're traveling, travel safe here. Have a great time with your family. Got to do it again soon, Ryan. Hope all is well with you. Thanks, man.
Can you make picks like a pro?
Yes!
Make the best picks and win a pizza party from Salvatore's Pizza at Tapestry Park.
Are we doing this?
Play 1010XL's weekly pick'em.
We'll say yes.
You pick 'em at 1010XL.com.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist is now offering ortho walk-in appointments. If you have an immediate need for orthopedic care, contact Southeast Orthopedic Specialist immediately. Avoid ERs and urgent care waiting rooms. For more information, go to se-ortho.com.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Baloo for Shinatri Chiropractic. They've helped me get rid of my headaches and pain in my neck and back. Are you suffering from an auto accident? What about TMJ pain? Headaches associated with jaw clenching, grinding of the teeth, or stress-related disorders? Shinatri Chiropractic has a physical therapist on staff for rehabilitation, quality chiropractic care, dry needling, massage, and acupuncture. Call 743-6700 or go to ShinatriDC.com.
These are interesting economic times. That's why it's so important to have someone you can count on. That's ITP Partners. Jacksonville folks taking care of our Jacksonville money. Experience? You best believe you want to give your hard-earned money to folks you trust. Jeff Hartman, Chris Bryan, Dan Abel, Reed Wingate, Scott Regner, Janice Cobb, and Reagan Wright have the expertise and knowledge to help clients in their financial lives, focusing on investment management, financial planning, and risk management. ITP Partners. Financial partners for life. Securities offered through American Portfolios Financial Services Inc. Member FINRA SIPC.
Joe C. for Blossman Gas. They've been providing hometown service and the comforts of propane to home and businesses since 1951. Imagine movie night spent around glowing gas fireplace logs, cookouts in the backyard with your propane grill, or laundry done faster with your gas dryer. Blossman has a wide variety of gas appliances to fit your needs. Propane delivery, gas appliances, and a full-service team. Blossman Gas is your local company for everything propane. Blossman Gas, log on, blossmangas.com, and check out the Blossman difference.
If your high school student is a high performer, they could be 1010XL Scholar Athlete of the Week.
Brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
And the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Wednesdays on The Frangie Show.
On 1010XL.
It's the Jaguars' final home game of the 2024 regular season, and you don't want to miss it. Join us Sunday, December 29th for our fan appreciation game when the Jaguars take on the Tennessee Titans.
It's going to go over on down, and the Jags are going to win the ball game.
To lock in your seats for this divisional matchup, head to Jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you there, Jags fans.
This is your Mad Dad's Update with Chapter President Donald Ford. In our effort to curb crime, drugs, and violence during the summer months, we are offering Friday Night Lights. It has already started and will be going until school starts back. It is every Friday night from 6:30 to 9:30 at the Blacktop, 5732 Normandy Boulevard, and behind the Potter's House Christian Academy. We manage 3 basketball courts. You are not running on the cement. We have covering on each court. The Lakers, the Magic, and the Heat. Ages 15 to 40 years old. This will give them something to do other than selling drugs and getting into trouble. We have monitors there giving leadership. We have to wake up, stand up, and speak up. Hit me on Facebook and tell me what you think. Or MattDadJacksonville.com.
Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island is excited to announce an all-new happy hour, 7 days a week. You heard right. Every day from 3 until 6 p.m. and again from 9 until close. Barley and Pie has deals you can't resist. 2-for-1 clay lights, 2-for-1 house wines, and much more. Experience the all-new happy hour at Barley and Pie Brewing Company in Fleming Island.
What is the only city to host both the Summer and Winter Olympics? The answer next.
Does your homeowner's insurance company contact you before, during, or after a big storm? If not, then it's time for you to contact Southern Oak Insurance. Find us online at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Beijing is the only city that has hosted both the Summer and the Winter Olympics.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Are you embarrassed by your ugly, cracked concrete driveway? Need to enhance your home's curb appeal? Stonecore on Phillips Highway is your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Replacing with new stone pavers will transform your driveway into a stunning work of art. Say goodbye to unsightly concrete and hello to beautiful, durable pavers that last for years. Visit Stonecore today and let's beautify your home together. Stonecore.co. We do outdoors better.
Are you looking for a place to outfit your truck or van? It's Catlin Truck Accessories. For 105 years and 4 generations, Catlin is the name you can count on. This is Keith Catlin, and we know trucks and vans too, from Lear toppers, ladder racks, van shelving, strobe lighting, roll and lock bed covers, and everything in between. If you want quality products and great customer service, there's only one name. It's Catlin.
Who can you count on? Count on Catlin.
For 105 years, you can count on Catlin.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Garber Auto Mall phone line.
Hello.
We can wiggle it.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Titans come up this Sunday, the home finale at Everbank Stadium. What a just stimulating game this ought to be. Combined records of 6-24. Both teams come in 3-12, although it's going to be very, very important when it comes to draft positioning. You hate to talk about that, but that's the reality of where the Jaguars are at right now. Let's recap the loss to the Raiders. Let's preview the Titans, and let's certainly talk about the future of the Jacksonville Jaguars with my buddy Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Jordan, how you doing, man?
Doing real well. A little bit better than the Jaguars are after last night, but depending on your point of view, maybe the Jaguars are feeling a little bit better, moving up in the draft order.
Yeah, Mac must have gotten the orders on 4th and 11. You throw a 3-yard check down to Dearness Johnson. That was an interesting decision late in the game yesterday, and we'll get to all of that. But, Jordan, they lost to a team that was coming in on a 10-game losing streak. The Raiders fans did not want to win that game. I mean, the Raiders actually cost themselves potentially Shedeur Sanders in winning that game. The Raiders had been awful. No Max Crosby. I mean, they were just going down the stretch there. And the fact that they just completely outplayed Jacksonville in the second half and won the game, again, just speaks volumes to where this Jaguar team is right now.
Yeah, it really does. And I honestly thought the Jaguars would win that game. Just like you said, there were so many factors weighing down the Raiders and dealing with no Max, no Christian Wilkins, all that stuff. But this Jaguars football team, I think that it's very clear that there's a lack of confidence. There's a lack of focus. I think everybody's just ready to get the heck out of here and regroup for 2025.
Well, that's the thing, too. I mean, they can say all the right things publicly, but you watched the game yesterday. I've watched football for many years, Jordan. You have as well. I don't know if I can ever remember the same guy lining up offsides on back-to-back plays. I mean, that was unbelievable. Eric Armstead lined up offsides on 2 consecutive plays. You had the fumbles by Bigsby and Strange. I mean, even Logan Cook shanked a punt. Mac Jones was not very good. I mean, yesterday was kind of the first sign to me that, I think these guys are about ready for this season to be over.
Yeah, I think they absolutely are. And, I mean, I guess the good thing that you see from this one is 2 of the big-time rookie draft picks, right, coming out and playing damn good football. Like, Brian Thomas Jr. continues to just excel, surpasses 1,000 receiving yards, has 9 receiving touchdowns. And then you see Mason Smith having his best game as a pro so far, getting pressures, getting stops, being disruptive. So you can take away those good positives about this one and the fact that, again, the Jaguars move up in draft order.
Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, here with us on 1010XL. Brian Thomas Jr., over 1,000 yards, 70-plus catches, almost 1,100 yards receiving. I mean, he's getting into rarefied air when it comes to rookies. Over 1,000 yards and 9 touchdowns. Not a lot of guys have done that their rookie year. I mean, clearly, Jordan, this entire offseason is going to be about Brian Thomas Jr. And I got to tell you, people talk about Trevor Lawrence making this job appealing for potential head coaches, and I agree with that. But in that same breath, I think you almost have to include Brian Thomas Jr. now, do you not?
100%. I think that any coach, offensive or defensive minded, would have to look at what Brian Thomas Jr. has done this year and just be fired up to land him and be able to coach him. And, you know, the questions about Brian Thomas Jr. coming into his rookie year and the reasons that he didn't go higher than he did in the draft had nothing to do with his physical ability. It was really more questions about, well, why didn't he have a bigger route tree at LSU, and why wasn't he featured more? And, well, you had Malik Neighbors and Jaden Daniels, and all they needed to do was just throw deep balls, right? So he has shown so much more since arriving in Jacksonville. And, yeah, any coach would be fired up to be able to have him on their football team. And I think when you look at the Jags, they still do need a receiver opposite Brian Thomas Jr. That's one thing I talked about it this morning. They haven't done since Trevor Lawrence has been here is really give him 2 high-quality outside receivers. And they struck out with Gabe Davis, it appears, but they do have it in Brian Thomas Jr., no doubt about it.
Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. Very quietly, Jordan, because of what Brian Thomas Jr. is doing, Parker Washington has put together a couple of nice games in Christian Kirk's absence. How much of what we're seeing from Parker right now will play a factor into Kirk's future here?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting. Obviously, it depends on who's making those decisions. I would imagine to me, if I was making the decision, it wouldn't really be, well, we have Parker Washington, so we can get rid of Christian Kirk. It would be more about, you know, Christian Kirk is it's an expensive contract, and you can save a lot of money by moving on and potentially adding, again, another outside receiver that maybe has a little bit more value. You know, guy that can go up and be a possession receiver, maybe someone who hasn't been injured the last 2 seasons. But I do think Parker Washington should play into the future of the Jaguars. I just don't know that he's going to be viewed as like this locked-in starter type in the slot or outside, right?
No, I agree, and we'll see what happens. But I like what Parker Washington has done. And you can almost ask the same thing with Brenton Strange. Now, Brenton Strange did not have the best game on Sunday, certainly nothing close to his 11-catch performance against the Jets. But Evan Ingram, Brenton Strange, is that a similar conversation with Christian Kirk and Parker Washington?
Yeah, that is interesting. I think that they should I don't think that they should move on from Evan and Christian Kirk in the same year. That's just a lot of talent to be moving on from. And I've always looked at tight ends, even if they're paid at the top of the market, you know, they're so undervalued if they're a move tight end that can really be an impact receiver. You know, getting paid 13 or 14 million per year when receivers are getting paid close to 30 now. So I would keep Evan Ingram around, not only for that, but such a leader, hard worker. I think he shows the way for some younger guys, right? And having those two on the field, I think would be a boon for the Jaguars next year.
Couple more for Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar. You mentioned Mason Smith, by far and away his best game as a professional on Sunday. Is that just a matter, Jordan, of the light coming on? I mean, Mason Smith always had the talent, and he obviously has the physical tools. He just hadn't put it all together, it appears, but it also appeared that he put it together finally on Sunday against the Raiders.
Yeah, there's been flashes, right? The last few weeks, he's gotten more and more reps, and it just kind of begs the question, with what they've had on the interior all year, why has he not gotten more reps? And I know he dealt with the ankle injury, but before that, he was a healthy scratch in a bunch of games. And so what could he be doing right now? What could his rookie year look like right now had he not been a healthy scratch for so long in what was, you know, confounding decision-making, right?
Yeah, no, it was. No question about it. And look, Mason Smith is a guy that you're going to kind of rely on in the interior of that defensive line.
Because, again, I don't know what you really have in there moving forward. I mean, Eric Armstead has been a big disappointment. I mean, for crying out loud, the guy lined up offsides twice on Sunday in back-to-back plays. That's unbelievable. Devon Hamilton's been okay, but clearly not what he was maybe 2 years ago. You got a lot of issues in the interior of that defensive line that need to be addressed. But I think the one guy you feel really good about moving forward probably is Mason Smith.
Yeah, and even he's going to have to develop more consistency as he moves forward, but there's no doubt about the talent that's there, which is exciting. And Eric Armstead, is that a contract they can move next year? I think you're probably going to see him in Jacksonville next year unless they decide to just cut dead weight or find a trade partner, but I'm not really sure either of those things is going to happen because you're not going to save any money by moving on from some of these free agents that you signed this year that haven't worked out. So I think trying to get him in the right headspace and get him lined up more on the interior, maybe next to Mason Smith, could be the Jaguars' best option for 2025.
Jordan, the home finale is Sunday. Tennessee comes in here. They're awful. The Jaguars are awful. Look, it does mean something when it comes to April's draft, right? And I was talking about this on the fifth quarter. Look, the players are going to want to win, and the coaches are going to want to win. We're contractually obligated to say that. But we're talking to the fan base, and Tennessee's going to need a quarterback. And Tennessee has the potential to draft Shedeur Sanders or potentially Cam Ward if they're high enough in the draft. Boy, I know you don't really want to root against the Jaguars to win, but if they're going to lose the game, this would be a good one to lose, would it not?
Yeah, there's no question about it. At this point, I know there's fans out there that still want to see competitive football and want to beat the Titans of all teams, right? But I just don't see how, for the long-term health of the franchise, winning really helps anything at this point. Because, yeah, the way the Jaguars are sitting right now at 3, let's say it's draft night, and I talked through this scenario earlier too. Let's say it's draft night. The Giants are sitting at 1. They take whichever quarterback. Then the Patriots are at 2 right now, and they're not going to take a quarterback. But maybe they say, hey, we're not going to trade down because we're not going to lose the opportunity to draft Travis Hunter or whoever we value at the top of the draft. We're going to get our top guy, bottom line. Then the Jaguars are sitting at 3, and you've got the Titans and the Browns and the Raiders and Jets, maybe the Saints, some teams that want to go get their quarterback. And this quarterback class is viewed by many as a 2-quarterback class in the first round with Shedeur Sanders and Cam Ward. So, yeah, sitting in the position that they're in right now could be very beneficial for the Jaguars.
And look, somebody's going to win, right? Somebody's going to win. And it'd be nice to sweep Tennessee and all that, but again, Tennessee needs a quarterback. I don't think I know Tennessee fans don't want to win this game because I've talked to a number of them, including guys that do shows up in Nashville. And I can assure you there's not a lot of Jaguar people outside that building that want to win either. Look, here's the bottom line. We're 2 weeks away from the end of the season. Jordan, everybody's got opinions on Baalke and Peterson. I said this on the fifth quarter as well. I'm fairly confident Peterson's gone. I'm not as confident Baalke's gone. I think either both guys go together, either Peterson's gone and Baalke remains. The one thing I don't think happens is that Baalke goes and Peterson remains. How do you summarize everything there that's going to happen in the next 2 weeks?
Yeah, I agree with you completely. It feels like Doug is probably, not going to survive this one. And Trent, it would be absolutely incredible for Shad Khan to allow him 3 different head coaches, wouldn't it?
It would be, and then you have 3 number 1 picks as well, right? I mean, he would have 3
and that's never
picks.
Happened.
No.
That has never happened.
And look, nothing against Doug and Trent personally. I have no ill will towards them. I just know that when you lose 17 out of 21, that's a problem, Jordan, and whatever's going on here is not working. So, again, I don't wish them ill will, but I also want the Jaguars to be successful, and right now they're far from that.
Yeah, this is a results-oriented business. There's no question about that. It always has been, and the results have not been good enough, bottom line, for too long now. And so it wouldn't be shocking at this point if Trent Baalke keeps his job just because of, Shad Khan's seemingly unwillingness to kind of completely clean house throughout his time here in Jacksonville, but it would be a mistake it would be viewed by the league as a massive mistake. You know, I think if you talked to people around the league, talked to other teams around the league, they'd be laughing. They would be laughing about it because, again, that would be Trent Baalke's third head coach in Jacksonville. And like you said, it would be 3 top overall picks in 5 years, which has never happened.
Jordan, final question. If he does keep Baalke, again, we don't know that, but let's assume that he does. How do you justify that to this fan base?
I don't think you can. I don't think there's any way to do it. I wish I could say more. What can you say to defend that type of decision?
And it is a results-oriented business, and the key word there is business, right? Ticket sales, everything. I just think Jaguar fans are going to be fuming if there are not wholesale changes here. They're not going to care about any statement that's released this time. They're not going to care about any press conference. They are just going to be very, very aggravated, if not something else, if wholesale changes are not happening here. And again, if you had to pin me down today, I'd say Peterson's probably gone. I'm not sure about Baalke. And if you keep Baalke, I think that really limits who you can bring in here as a head coach.
Yeah, it would definitely be limiting in their search. And now, does that mean that they wouldn't hire someone that folks know or someone that folks are excited about? Maybe not. You never know how it could work out. But I feel confident in saying that if they don't make wholesale changes, they're probably not going to be moving towards the direction of becoming a sustained winner. And that would be very disappointing with what they have invested in this franchise, you know, and in this organization with the Miller Electric Center, with the Stadium of the Future, with Trevor Lawrence, with these big contracts they've handed out to Tyson Campbell and Josh Hines-Allen. That would be, just incredibly disappointing for this franchise.
Jordan, tell the good folks here in Jacksonville about Generation Jaguar and the coverage you guys will have heading into the Titans game on Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. At this point in the year, most of the talk is more about the future, right? You know, mock drafts, talking about free agency, talking about potential coaches and maybe general managers. We will preview the Titans game a little bit, but of course, you know, people want to talk about the future. People want to hear about the future. And so that's what we're going to be more focused on, you know, from here on out.
Jordan DeLugo of Generation Jaguar. Jordan, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. Happy holidays to you and your family, pal, and we'll do it again soon.
Absolutely. Happy holidays, Hacker, and thanks for having me on.
And thank you to Jordan DeLugo, Generation Jaguar, for joining us here on Hacker After Dark. I caught up with Jordan earlier this week and brought you that conversation here this evening as the Jaguars get ready for the Tennessee Titans Sunday at 1 o'clock. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL, the regular season home finale. And 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans go final, Leon Searcy and myself will have the fifth quarter for you. The head coach, Dave Campo, may join us by phone. Coach is still traveling for the holidays, but we will have the fifth quarter for you again 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans go final. Well, that will just about do it, man. We talked a lot of Jaguar football tonight, obviously. Talked a lot about the bowl matchups, the college football playoff as well. We have a ton of people to thank for tonight's broadcast. Again, thank you to Jordan DeLugo of Generation Jaguar. Thank you to Graham Hall, 247sports.com down in Gainesville, covering the Florida Gators, not only football, but the basketball team back on the court this week. They are a perfect 12-0, and they will take the court this weekend, their final non-conference game of the year against Stetson. Thank you to Tyler Rowland, host of the Locked On Titans podcast, as we gave you the Tennessee perspective of this matchup on Sunday. And back in hour number one, my buddy Leon Searcy, former Pro Bowl offensive tackle for the Jacksonville Jaguars. You hear him every day on Primetime, and you get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. And again, the fifth quarter, 2 hours after the Jaguars and the Titans go final, Leon and I will have it for you right here on 1010XL. JJ LaSelva was your producer tonight. JJ, great job as always, my friend. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. And Jacksonville, thank you for listening to Hacker After Dark this evening and all week here with us on 1010XL. As we always tell you, and we cannot possibly tell you enough how much we absolutely appreciate it. So for all of us here on HAD, have an absolutely terrific remainder of your Friday evening and a fantastic weekend. And I will talk to you again Sunday evening for the 5th quarter right here on 1010XL. Until then, good night, Jacksonville.